Hi, my name is Liz Hathway and this is my astrological look at the week ahead. That's the week starting Monday the 26th of November 2018. So today, Monday, we have a bunch of aspects. We have the Sun conjunct Jupiter in Sagittarius, and we have Mercury in Sagittarius, retrograde squaring Mars in Pisces. So there you have already the two little clubs that we see coming to the foreground in the first part of the week. We have the Sagittarius group of planets who are all about optimism, all about the big gestures, all about, you know, in a way, hogging the news, you know, because Jupiter's quite hungry and Sagittarius as well. It's all about the future relationship, the future plans. You know, Sag is very much about the future. And I find the contrast between these sort of future-orientated, bigged up, you know, grand gestures, which we saw, for example, yesterday with, you know, Theresa May, the sign-off of her deal in Brussels, and then, you know, her plea to the British people in the Sunday Mail. These are all big gestures. But then we have this group of dissenters, which we could say are very much represented by Mars in Pisces, approaching conjunction to Neptune in Pisces. Pisces is one of the mute signs. It doesn't have a lot to say for itself, but it's certainly, you know, Mars, Neptune, this is almost in a way like the silent majority or the mass of the people. And when we see like Mercury retrograde square in this Mars in Pisces, then you get the sense of, you know, verbal feeding frenzy or a hunger for news. Or Mercury's very much about young people as well, young people who are angry. There's an angry element, war of words sort of feel between Mercury and Mars. Dissent, as I said, there's a definite feeling of dissent there, particularly as well because Neptune's, you know, backing Mars up in a way. It's they're going to get together soon, you know. So we have like these two conflicting kind of forces, you know, the Pisces group and then the Sag bundle of planets, Sun, Mercury and Jupiter, although Mercury retrograde. So yeah, this energy is taking us through the first part of the week, because we see on Tuesday the Sun conjuncts Mercury. So again, this is the day for the big gestures. This is, you know, talk it up. You know, look at, for example, the impact on business. You know, like all very much about the future, all about future things. We see as well Mars sextile Saturn as well on Tuesday, which is nice because Saturn's in Capricorn and Mars, you know, generally Mars, you know, likes Saturn. You know, so it's organized, it's disciplined, you know, it's, but it kind of organized and disciplined in a sort of all over the place sort of way, if you know what I mean. Because Pisces is very much about positioning, you know, it's very much about where do I want to be? And it's a kind of a go with the flow, looking for its current. You know, it's very busy, all this mutable stuff. It's a very, very busy sort of energy, but there's a kind of chaotic edge to it as well. Mercury retrograde, etc. So it's kind of, things are happening, things are getting done, but it's in a kind of an all over the place sort of chaotic almost sort of way. And then we kind of dip into, you know, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We've had all this, you know, on Tuesday we have Saturn, Mercury, Jupiter, Mercury, all these conjunctions. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there's almost like the week mellows into something. It's a kind of a, you know, build up, really. This is where we kind of get this kind of build up again for, you know, the next round, if you like, which is coming from a completely different sort of source. And it's not the Pisces Sag, which are the, you know, the mutables. No, this is coming from the cardinals. This is coming from Venus approaching the last degree, now moving already on Sunday back into Scorpio, where she first was in September. So she's, you know, going back into Scorpio. So she's right there at the very end of Libra now, in the sign where she, you know, she is in her sign of rulership. So she can really, she has a lot to give here. She's, you know, comfortable, shall we say. And then she moves into Scorpio and the energy changes. And before Venus gets back into Scorpio, we have the opposition with Uranus and a square to the nodes, which have as well now shifted. North node in Cancer, South node in Capricorn. So for a start, there's clearly tension in relationships with Venus opposite Uranus. But, you know, as I said, Venus was first in Scorpio in September. So this isn't something new. This is some issues that have been going on for a while. There's been tension here for a while. And now it sort of comes to this final sort of face-off in a way with Uranus. It can be a radical choice here. And also that radical choice could involve a radical change in direction as well, because the nodes are involved. You know, North Node in Cancer is very much, I think, about the gut feeling. Cancer is a water sign, you know. You sometimes have to trust your feelings. And this square to these nodes, it's like kind of, it's demanding in a way a move, you know, and it's a bold move because Venus is moving back into Scorpio, where she's passionate, where she's willful, where she's a fighter, you know. She's in cohorts in a way with Mars, who's in Pisces. Mars exalts Venus. He really, you know, has a thing for Venus. So, you know, these two planets now are coming into a sort of, you know, a kind of collaborative thing, you know, through the receptions there. So this is, you know, fight to the death in a way. It's passionate, it's willful. And certainly when we see as well that Mercury retrogrades back into Scorpio on Saturday, then we can see that Mars is very much back in the picture. And Mars, as I said earlier on, is kind of like, you know, snuggling up and getting cozy with Neptune. So these two planets are coming back in. Scorpio back on the agenda, you know. So there's certainly with Mercury in Scorpio, the nuance and the choices and the sense of the future lies ahead and it's open, which we get with Mercury in Sag. It's kind of back in Scorpio, so it's less choices, yeah. It's kind of also the nuances out of it. It's very much black or white. It's either this or that. There's nothing in between. And I think we see this sort of energy manifesting already very much if we look at the UK and the whole Brexit situation and the deal that's been made, where it's been said over and over again, this is the deal, no changes can be made to it. You know, there will be no more concessions. And I think this is like that change into Scorpio where, you know, the deal is the deal and this is it. So I think the week we can almost divide it in some ways into these two parts, where there's this very optimistic, upbeat, but you feel that tension under the surface coming from Pisces, and then, you know, the squares coming from the Sag planets to Pisces. And then that quiet build up to the second part of the week, well, actually the weekend, isn't it? Where we see Saturday, the Venus-Uranus opposition, Venus and Uranus both square in the nodes, and then Mercury back into Scorpio, black and white. This is how it is. And Mercury back into Scorpio, where she will go through hellfire for the object of her affection, her desire. It's very strong, powerful Venus. So this is going to be a really fascinating week. Enjoy.